Hey, what's up, guys? It's Hello Mr. Lion again. So, a couple days ago, I made a video showcasing all of the new traversal pathways that I could find that are available to us with the addition of the mantling mechanic that was given to us in the last update. However, in that video, I talked about a concept that I like to call gun boosting. And although I had a few examples of how you can use that in that video, and I went over it a little bit, I thought might be nice to go into a little bit more detail and explain what it is, how you can use it, and why it happens. So essentially, the core principle is in that every single gun in this game gives off some kinetic force whenever you fire it. This isn't visible whenever you're standing because your feet are planted firmly on the ground. I can fire in front of me and nothing happens. However, if I jump and jetpack and fire, even without pressing back on my control stick, I'm moved back several feet. This is super visible if you take something like this line as a point of reference, stand on top of it, and just jetpack and fire as much as I can. So as you can see, I moved back a few feet here. Now, the carbine is a really weak weapon for this. It doesn't have a lot of kinetic force that's given off, but if you take something like the assault rifle, it's really evident. So I'll do the same thing, stand on this line, and just fire as much as I can. As you can see, I moved back close to maybe 10 feet on this. The way that you can use this is essentially by firing your weapon while you're airborne the opposite of the direction that you're wanting to move. So if you want to add some distance to your jump, you just move backwards and fire behind you essentially as you're moving. If you want to give yourself a little bit extra height, you just look at the ground and fire downwards while you're jetpacking up. This will allow you to reach some areas that you otherwise couldn't. And let's give an example here. So right here, I can just jump up and mantle over this edge very easily without any extra assistance. However, this ledge is just a little bit too high. Even on my best jump attempts, I'm just not going to be able to mantle over that. It's too high. But if I've got a weapon like the assault rifle in hand, I just look down, fire at my feet as I'm jetpacking, and I easily can reach it high enough to mantle over. Now, the assault rifle is sort of middle of the road. This is even more evident with more powerful weapons like the SMG or the plasma rifle. So, if we take the SMG up here and do the same thing, I'm high enough to almost land on it in that instance. And if I take the plasma rifle, I can pretty much clear the entire thing. I jumped right over it. So each and every weapon has a varying degree of power that is given off whenever you fire it. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea to take each and every weapon into a simulation map on custom games and just show you what the horizontal and vertical thrust is for each and every weapon. So let's go ahead and get started with that now. Okay, so first up is the battle rifle. Like I said earlier, I think this is probably one of the weaker weapons, but let's go ahead and check out the horizontal on it. Alright, so not terrible. It got just to the edge of the box here that I'm standing in. Let's go ahead and check out the vertical. Alright, and here's the vertical. So again, not great. It's better than nothing, but probably not much better than the carbine. Alright, next up is the pistol. I'm not going to lie, this is probably the single weakest gun in the game as far as gun boosting goes, but we're here to test it out, so let's see what it has on horizontal. Yep, barely landed on the blue rim of that circle, so not great. Alright, and here's the vertical for the pistol. Like I said, not great. There probably is never going to be a situation in which the gun boost from the pistol is ever going to really help you, but it's something. Alright, so next up is the carbine. It's the weapon that you're going to have in pretty much every game mode that you play, other than a few. It's more powerful than the pistol, but probably not as good as something like the battle rifle, so let's go ahead and see the horizontal on it. Yeah, like I said, A little better than the pistol, not quite as good as the battle rifle. Let's check the vertical. Alright, so not bad. There are going to be some situations where this is the only weapon that you have at hand, and it will work for a gun boost up to a high ledge, but most of the time you're going to have something a little bit more powerful. Alright, now we're on to the assault rifle. This is the first weapon we're going to see that actually has some serious power. It's also one of the most easily accessible weapons that you can use for a decent gun boost. So let's see what the horizontal looks like. Yeah, as you can see, massive improvement. We're all the way over on the inner box over here on the right side. So let's check out what we can do with the vertical. Alright, as you can see, that's much higher than any of the other weapons we've seen so far. Again, this is going to be your best bet for your general gun boosting needs. Okay, so this is the plasma rifle. This is probably my favorite gun to use for gun boosting. It has tremendous kinetic force, and the clip is massive, so you could just keep that going forever. So let's see what it's got going for the horizontal. Yeah, absolutely tremendous. I hit the wall back there. So let's see what it can do in the vertical. Yep, again, absolutely huge. Nearly hit the roof up there. So this is definitely going to be one of the best weapons to use for gun boosting in the game. Okay, so now I've got the railgun out. This is a really tricky one because it has that 1 second startup time, but it does have a pretty significant amount of force that it gives out. You just have to be able to time it correctly. So let's see what we can do in the horizontal. Alright, so not bad. That center box out there, much like the assault rifle. Let's see what we can do with the vertical. Alright, so not bad. Again, similar to the assault rifle. Maybe a little bit more on the vertical. If you can time it right, it's a great weapon for it, but the only thing is it has low ammo count, so you might want to be using this for other purposes. Alright, so we are now onto the rocket launcher, and to say that this gun has the strongest kinetic force out of any other gun in the game is an understatement. It's ridiculous. Let me show you how. So, on horizontal, blasted back into that wall would have kept going if there was room for it. Check this out. On the vertical, I actually hit the ceiling. So, yeah, needless to say, this has immense power. The only thing is, you can't fire it down at your feet in normal settings. I have a health boost going on in this custom game just to be able to show you this. If you're going to make use of the rocket on a vertical gun boost, you have to make sure to do it over an open pit. So after you jump off of a ledge, or if you're already airborne enough to avoid the blast, otherwise you're just going to kill yourself. Alright, next in line we've got the shotgun, which definitely has some decent force. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with the horizontal. Alright, so a little bit better than the assault rifle. The only thing is, to get that much distance, you're going to need to use a lot of ammo, so it might be just better used as a standard weapon. Let's check out the vertical. Alright, definitely some decent height on that one. Looks like I probably could have stopped at 2 pumps of the shotgun. I wouldn't recommend using this one unless it's just like a single shot to be able to get up to a ledge that you can mantle over. A lot of times you're just going to be better off using the gun regularly since it's so powerful. Okay, so next up is the SMG. This is a great weapon for gun boosting. It's readily available across many maps and game modes. It has great force. The clip size is huge. Let's go ahead and see what the horizontal looks like. As you can see, almost as good as the plasma rifle. Let's see what we can do with the vertical. Again, pretty great height. It's just an all-around great weapon for gun boosting. Use it whenever you can. A single boost is going to leave you with 2 full clips left of ammo too, so it's a great choice. Alright, so last but not least, we have the sniper. It's probably got about as much power as the shotgun as far as kinetic force goes. A little bit larger ammo reserve, but it's still good in a pinch if you want a gun boost with it. So let's see what we can do with the horizontal. So pretty decent. Actually a little bit better than the assault rifle. Probably about the same range as the SMG. Let's see what the vertical looks like. Alright, so not bad, a little weaker than some other options, but still, like I said, usable in a pinch. Alright, so now that we've taken the time to look at the individual performance for every weapon when it comes to gun boost, I figured it would be a good idea to go ahead and just throw them all into a tier list so we can kind of get an idea for how they stack up next to one another. So let's make the tier list, let's say A through C, A being the highest and C being the lowest. In the very bottom of the C tier, it's going to be the pistol. The pistol is not going to do much for you that you can't already do with just your regular jump and jetpack. But, there might be some sort of niche circumstances where you can find some sort of use for it. So, yeah, that's the very bottom. After that, we've got the carbine. Carbine is going to be in your hands most of the time when you're playing the game. There are definitely going to be some areas where you can use this to get up to a high ledge or jump a gap, but if you can, you're probably going to want to have something else in hand. Then at the top of C tier, I'll put the battle rifle. It's only a little bit better than the carbine, but it's still readily available. It's something you can always go for if you don't have any other option. But yeah, that does it for C tier. At the bottom of B tier, I would probably put probably the railgun. It has some decent force, but because of the startup for the shot, it's very difficult to use effectively. And it has obviously a very, very small clip. There's only four shots in each railgun. After that, I would say the sniper and the shotgun stack up almost identical. Maybe the sniper has a slight advantage because of the higher ammo capacity, but those are ones where you're pretty much only going to want to fire one shot off to get a little bit higher or get a little bit more distance on your jump with the gun boost. At the very top of B tier, I would have to say the assault rifle, which is probably your best middle of the road weapon for gun boosting in the game because it's so readily available. If you're playing casual, you have it automatically, so you can use it all the time. Great ammo capacity, good power. It's just an all-around fantastic weapon for using with gun boost. Moving on to A tier, I would say that SMG is at the bottom. It's similar in power to the assault rifle, just a little bit better, a little bit higher ammo capacity, and a little bit more force. These two weapons, the assault rifle and the SMG, are going to be your go-tos with gun boosting. Those are the ones you're going to want to use most of the time. At the very top, however, of A tier, I would probably say it's the rocket launcher, and then on top of that is the plasma rifle. And even though the rocket launcher is technically more powerful than the plasma rifle, I'm going to put the plasma rifle at the very top because the rocket launcher, it's a dangerous weapon to use and there isn't much ammo in it. So, you gun boost with it once and you're missing a quarter of your ammunition. The plasma rifle, it's just fantastic. You can get tremendous height on it, tremendous distance, huge clip, huge ammo reserves. It's just going to be the best in the game. All right, guys. So with all that out of the way, there's only one more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about before letting you go, and that is making sure that y'all are making proper use of Sprint in conjunction with Gun Boost and just with playing Splitgate in general. So I'm sure most people know this, but just in case you don't, in Splitgate you can actually sprint midair, and this can be done in any direction. Of course, you can only sprint going forwards when you're on the ground, but in the air you can sprint in any direction. You can sprint either side to side, front to back, diagonally, any which way you want. You just have to make sure that you actually have sprint activated as soon as you leave the ground. By default, Splitgate has set sprint to manual, so you actually have to press the sprint button as soon as you leave the ground every time. However, there is a setting in the gameplay settings that is called auto sprint, I think. I use that, and it makes it a lot easier to just not have to worry about whether or not you're pressing that button. You always get the most optimal movement that you can get out of every single jump. So make sure you have that, especially if you're going to be doing stuff like this where you're trying to move backwards as you're firing in front of you like that to get the best possible results with your gun boosting. But yeah, with that, I hope you guys found this video informative. I hope that you have fun kind of checking out the different things that you can do with this. If you want to see the things that I found out that you can do with gun boost and the new mantling mechanic, go ahead and check out the video I made a couple days ago. I'll provide a link in the description if you want to see that. But yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys have fun, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later.